to the coldest setting, so if you do lose power, all that stuff is nice and chill. There you go. Watch Mass Appeal. That's very important. Also, fill your car's gas tank. Get cash. Plan how you will feed your family. Don't worry, we've got representatives from the American Red Cross here this morning, and they'll tell you everything you need to know. For now, we're going to get an update on the weather with 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Ashley Baylor. She's in the Weather Center. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, guys. Kind of a long day out here, but hey, it is what it is. This is what I knew I'd sign up for when I became a meteorologist. Here's our ESP live Doppler radar. You can see that we are tracking light snow across much of western Massachusetts, and that's mostly what we'll have to contend with today. The heavier stuff does not arrive until later on tonight. You can see that we're actually tracking two storm systems, and what's going to happen is these two storm systems are going to phase together and move offshore, and that's going to become our sizable nor'easter. Winter storm warning in effect for all of western Massachusetts through Saturday afternoon. So expect just light snow out there today. Accumulations right around 3 to 6 inches by this evening. The heaviest snow and the strongest winds will arrive tonight. Expect snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. That blowing snow will reduce visibility and also create some high snow drifts. We could see wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour at times. For the most part, we're looking at 12 to 18 inches across the Pioneer Valley into eastern parts of Berkshire County, right around 10 to 16 inches in western parts of Berkshire County. So lots of snow associated with this storm that we're going to be dealing with over the next 24 to 36 hours. So I don't know what you guys think about this, but kind of looking forward to it. I'm actually miraculously calm.
I'm looking forward to it too. I've got my wool socks on. I'm set to go over here.
You got your what socks on?
My wool socks. You got to stay warm. It's important. Hey,
thanks, Ashley.
It's so important to stay warm. It's also important to stay safe. So with the storm warning, there's always the possibility of widespread power outages all across the state. And many people are going to use generators if the power goes out. David from FM Generators in West Springfield joins us to share tips on operating your generator safely. David, thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for joining us
We
today.
know you're going to be busy guy, right, in the next few hours ahead. So
Most definitely.
Interesting thing about you, you normally deal with the generators that are as big as most people's houses or cars.
Yeah.
So you were in there after storms like Superstorm Sandy, helping to get the power back there.
Exactly, yeah.
But today we're going to talk about how important it is to get the power back in your house. Let's talk generator safety. What's important to know when people buy a generator?
Basically, to make sure it is not by any open windows, to have it outside your home. If you have to refuel the generator, you need to make sure the generator is shut off before you fuel it. You need to have the proper extension cords. If that's what the typical homeowner is going to use as extension cords just to power a few things up.
Now you need to keep it outside, but you also need to keep it dry, right?
Oh yes, yes.
So what about a tarp? Would something like a tarp on top of it?
No, you can't do that.
Gotcha.
It'll melt it.
So you need some sort of infrastructure?
Yes.
Okay.
well, what if you just went out and got a generator? You heard, we're getting a storm, you want to be prepared, you got one. What is the best way to make sure that you're taking all the right steps to be safe?
Talk to your local representative. I mean, you can make some calls.
And the other thing that's important to know too is CO2, carbon dioxide. That is a silent killer. So you need to make sure you have a detector installed. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. In your home, but absolutely not to put it anywhere near your home. Any open windows, inside of a garage. It's deadly.
Yeah. Well, these seem like they're very, very simple, obvious things, but if you've never owned a generator, you may not realize that. So it's really important to touch on that. Everyone that does have a generator will now know exactly how to stay safe. David, thanks so much. We know you got a lot to get to, so we appreciate you being here. And now, in addition to a generator, it's important to make sure you have the right supplies when a storm is coming. And we are joined by Seth Daleman. He's from Rocky's Ace Hardware in Westfield. Seth, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Seth. Nice to meet a fellow Seth, too.
I know, right? It's a good name.
Yep.
So there's a lot to cover, obviously, when it comes to being prepared for a storm. But some of the basic things that you want to make sure you have are obviously a shovel and ice mount, would you say?
Absolutely. The first thing we're going to have to deal with this storm is the cleanup process, making sure our sidewalks are clear, our driveways, steps and walkways and whatnot. So a couple things that you do want to have on hand is, a shovel and some ice melt.
Now, the ice melt, there's so many different kinds, and you have to keep in mind your situation as for what you're buying it for. So what do you need to look for when you're looking at ice melt?
Absolutely. There's pros and cons to all the different types of ice melt out there. You have your traditional rock salt, which tends to be the most affordable one. But if you're concerned about pets or the condition of your sidewalk, there's other options out there. Magnesium chloride blend, like the vaporizer there, is going to be safe for your animal friends, and it's going to do a little less damage to the vegetation around your yard as well.
Now, so it can do damage to the vegetation. Now, you're also saying it could maybe mess up some of the asphalt or some of your planning of your house?
With the vegetation, anytime you get a high concentration of any of these ice melts on it, you know, it can kind of damage it a little bit. As far as protecting the asphalt and the concrete, any of these ice melt products, especially the old rock salt, is going to create a thawing and freezing process. And as it thaws, you know, it seeps into the concrete and refreezes, and it expands, and you get some cracks and chips. Some of the better ones, the magnesium chloride and, you know, calcium chloride, is a little bit gentler on that. And with any of these, you don't want to put it on any concrete that is less than a year old.
Okay, that's good to know. I have a question for you. People that have children, especially toddlers that are crawling around under the ground, you are inevitably going to track some of this rock salt into your home. Is there any specific ice melter or rock salt that you should not buy if you do have kids and pets that will be very, very close to it, obviously?
Yep. I wouldn't buy the old-fashioned rock salt or the calcium chloride blends. Those tend to leave a residue that can be tracked into the house, you know, left on carpets or floors. The magnesium chloride is really the gentlest ice melt out there, so that's going to be one for people with the small kids or the pets.
Thank you for clearing that up. That's important.
Now, Seth, let's talk about the other things that are imperative that people have already or go out and purchase before the storm, some of the stuff that you also have at Rockies.
Oh yeah, you know, with any big storm there is the potential for power loss. We just talked a little bit about generators, so making sure you have batteries, flashlights, hurricane lamps, candles, and that type of stuff would be something to keep in mind.
And people may think, I'm not going to go out now, I'm sure they're all sold out. That's definitely not the case.
No, absolutely not. We're constantly getting replenished, so we do have plenty of products. So, you know, come out, get the product you need before it gets really bad out there.
And it's not too bad now.
Yeah, you have a big shipment coming in from New York right now, too,
Absolutely. Right? Coming right out of our distribution center. We'll be constantly restocked, so swing on by.
Sounds good. That I can do.
Seth, thank you so much. It's so good to know, you know, exactly what, I mean, obviously there's so many different kinds of ice melt you can buy. And of course products, but you can always ask your friendly Rockies store.
You know, call your local store, and, you know, we'd be glad to help you out with anything.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Seth.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. And for these tips, you can head to Rockies.com for more information and also to find a location near you.
All right, so one thing is for sure, New Englanders know that storms can be pretty rough and sometimes unpredictable. And the best thing to do is to be prepared for the worst.
And joining us this morning to tell you how to stay safe are Mary Nathan and Brenda Brulette from the American Red Cross. Ladies, so nice to have you here this morning.
Well, thank you for having us.
I love your emergency preparedness kit because it's in a large trash can. Because you're going to need that anyways, you might as well use it as the vessel.
Exactly. We recommend that every household have what we call a shelter-in-place kit and have it prepared well ahead of the storm. And it would contain items that you would need to help you stay safe and comfortable if you lose power or get stuck living in the home without being able to get outside for for any length of time. What we recommend is we've got ours in a brand new trash barrel on wheels, and it does have a lid, and that you put everything that you feel that you're going to be needing for your family in it, and then you leave it in there. You don't tap into it and start taking things out.
That's what I do. I'd say like, oh, you know, I need some of those. Just grab it for my kid, and then I'd have nothing left.
I need a teddy bear to cuddle with.
Right.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do
so
that.
well.
So there's basic items that you should have there. And the reason that you want it all in one place and you know where it is because when the lights go out, you want to be able to find it in a hurry and have everything in it that you're going to need. The big thing is you want to have a flashlight with batteries so that you can see where you're going. But you also want to have food items that don't need preparation and that you can get in. So we've got some samples here. We've got canned tuna, so you got your protein with a can opener that doesn't require any electricity.
That is smart.
We've got first aid kits, but a lot of times what you need to think about is what does your family need to stay safe and comfortable, and put those types of items in. A big thing that people don't think about is cash. So you want to make sure that you've got some cash on you, because you may be able to get out of the house in the next day or two, even if the power's out. But if you don't have electricity, you can't pay usually. For items with a credit card. So you want to make sure that you do have some cash. And prescription medicine, a lot of times this catches people short. Your prescription might be coming due in a few days, but if you're going to be stuck home for 3 days, you want to make sure that you don't let it lapse like that, so that you do have some prescription medicine tucked away. And then cycle through every 6 months. Hopefully you've not needed it, but go through and make sure that your food items are still safe and within date, and your medications are switched over.
Now let's go through these food items a little bit. The common thread that I see here is protein, because you can have all those snack crackers, and the Cheez-Its, but that's going to wear thin after a little bit. You need some protein to keep you going.
Absolutely, you do. Most people in New England would rather stay home, so you want to think of what are you going to need to sustain yourself for about 3 days. That's usually the point at which people will say, I can't stay home anymore, I'd like to go into a shelter.
Yeah,
The shelter has
fever,
no
right,
shelter.
exactly.
But
Okay,
most
good
people
to
want
know.
to try to stay home for 3 days, so you do need to think about things that will sustain you. But you want your comfort food in there too.
And now, Brenda, tell us about, obviously food is important. Obviously you want a lot of water in your home.
Right.
What are some other things you'd want to have? Obviously first aid kit, maybe a crank radio.
Right. Also, you want to make sure that this is flu season, and a lot of folks have colds and flu. So you want to make sure that you're protecting each one in your family, that you have, handy wipes and sanitary wipes, that you have extra trash bags, so that if somebody does get ill, you can package that material up and keep it in an area away from everybody else, so that you're not infecting everybody in the household, trying to keep, things clean and sanitized. You want to make sure that you have some games and some items for the kids to stay occupied with. You want to make sure that you just understand how your family operates and what's going to work best for them. Mary talked a lot about the food. We want to make sure that you have protein and good nutritional food, but having that comfort food that your family needs as well. And of course, if the power is out for a long period of time, we ask people to be prepared for 3 days, but after 3 days it starts to get a little difficult. People can't withstand the cold. So the American Red Cross is working with the Massachusetts Emergency Management Association and our local emergency managers. We have shelter locations that we've put on standby. Of course, it'll depend on where the impact is most significant, but a way to find out if you have a power outage for long duration is to call 211 once you've been in a power outage for a long period of time, and that's one of the resources where you can get information and help as to how where you can get a hot meal, where you can go for a shower, where you can power up your cell phone, those types of things.
And speaking of great resources, unfortunately we're out of time, but I just want to highlight this radio really quick. It's a crank radio.
Yes, it is.
And this is the American Red Cross one, but you can get one from a plethora of different companies. But what's great about it is you can crank it and you can charge your cell phone on it. You can get the NOLA weather service. You can pretty much do whatever you need.
It has an alarm.
Right. It might be one of the best investments that you can make in a storm like this. So,
it really is,
Definitely.
yes.
ladies, I really want to thank you for coming on the show today, bringing all of these items, because it's so important that people out there, if this does get pretty bad, people need these items. So thanks
Be
for
prepared.
helping to start that list.
Thank you for being here. And you can stay with 22 News on air, online, and on the go throughout the day for all the latest updates on the snowstorm.
And don't forget to sign up for weather alerts on WWLP.com. Coming up today on Mass Appeal, right now we are getting a look at our Springfield sky cam. Looking a little snowy out there, and preparations are underway for this nor'easter. We've got even more ways to keep you safe.
Plus, it's best to stay home, but if you have to head out, you'll want to see our tips for driving safe in the snow. You're watching Mass Appeal.
Welcome back to Massfield, everyone.
So we know the snow is falling out there, but for an update, we're going to check in with 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Ashley Baylor. Hey, Ashley, what's the update?
All right, well, we still have the light snow that is falling all across western Massachusetts, and I tell you, it's coming down at a pretty steady clip, and it was coating the ground. Some places are already reporting about a ½ inch of snow. Our ESP live Doppler radar showing you these lighter shades of blue that just indicates light snow. The heavier snow is not expected to arrive until later on, but you can see these two storm systems are basically going to phase together and move offshore. So this is eventually going to become a pretty sizable storm system, and not to mention it is going to be a long-lived storm system, 24 to 36 hours, so it has a lot of time to drop a lot of snow on us. Winter storm warning will be in effect through 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Just expect light snow for today, 3 to 6 inches possible by this evening. After 5 o'clock is when the snow starts to pick up in intensity and the winds will start to pick up as well. We're looking at snowfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour at times. Snowfall forecast right around 12 to 18 inches across the Pioneer Valley. It is possible we could see over 18 inches in far eastern parts of Hampden County, places like Palmer, Brimfield, Munson, Wales, and Holland. That's going to be kind of the bullseye for the highest amounts, at least as far as our viewing area goes. Of course, you can keep up to date with the very latest on this nor'easter at WWLP.com.
It's time for a Taste Appeal. Hey, if the power goes out, you don't have a stove.
No,
right?
but you gotta eat, right?
You gotta eat. So hey, we've got Kathleen Delaney. She's a local chef and the owner of Great Grapes Catering. She joins us to show you a meal that you can make even if you lose power. That's very important, Kathleen. We're happy you're here.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
See, if this was me, I would be eating cold beans.
Well,
but
hey, that
That's
works.
okay.
That's true,
okay.
but it's not as good as what you're making right now.
It's true. The problem with this is that you have to make sure that you always are stocked. So you have to say, oh, what do I have in a can? What do I have in a jar? What do I want to eat? Do I really want to eat, you know, I mean, I always keep fresh things in my fridge, but think about it. If your power's out for a while, you're going to have to use it up. So I brought the things that I had in my refrigerator. So I brought cucumbers, I brought some lettuce, I brought some spinach, and then I went, okay, what can I make out of what I have on my shelf? So I said, well, we have tuna fish. Always a good protein staple. I have goat cheese, because you know me, I always have goat cheese.
Always. And Dijon mustard.
And that's,
Of
hello, of course. Okay,
Can't live without
so
it.
I said, what can I put together? So I had spinach, I had olives, I had a can of roasted red peppers. So I said, all right, let's make my version of a Nicoise salad. No, I didn't have any potatoes. So I said, okay, let's put it together. Let's put the salad together, okay? We've got a can already drained. Everything you put in a can or take out of a jar, I always like to rinse it off. You never know. It's just a good safety thing.
Okay,
so,
good tip.
So today, we're going to make a traditional, you know, mayonnaise and mustard mixture of a tuna salad on a baguette, so that you have a lovely lunch when
So
you're.
much better. I mean, PB&J is good, but it gets old,
But this
and
is
you want to,
better.
you know, you want to
You
feel
gotta
like
change it up,
you
you
could,
know.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially if you could open a bottle of wine. I mean, you know,
There you
why
go.
not live it up, right?
And you know what's nice too? It's something your kids are going to go stir crazy when there's a storm like this. And if you're shut in for a couple days.
Hey, and you will too.
Yeah, exactly. But if you can cook with them and if you can kind of bring them into it, it breaks up their monotony a little bit.
Absolutely, and it's safe. It's not a lot of, you know, it's more of an assembly kind of thing. Okay, you can mix this. And here you take out the little pickles. Now, some people don't like pickles in their tuna fish salad. I do. So I have some cornichons here, some little French pickles, because everyone has those.
Cornichons?
In their,
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get
Or-
let's
I
get
have
to
stock
work.
in cornichons. I don't even
Of course
know
you
what
do.
those
So
are.
we have, here you go. These 4 ingredients.
Okay, so this is tuna.
Tuna.
And
Except you're like the
Tuna.
kid here. Okay,
Some red
follow
onion.
direction.
I'm playing, yeah, I'm
Red
playing
onion,
the
some celery,
some celery.
and some little baby pickles. Now you could use relish if you wanted.
What kind of pickles are these called
They're
again?
called cornichons.
Cornichon, like
or-
Cornish hens, but they're pickles?
That's what I thought.
Cornichons.
They were
That's just a
making
little
cornichons.
dill pickle, and that's a French way of saying it. So now, literally everything was either in a jar or I had celery. So now we're going to do the mayonnaise. Okay. Everybody's got mayonnaise. Maybe not that big a jar, but
No.
yeah.
No, but I
do
do
it.
have mayonnaise. Yeah.
Mayonnaise.
how much of each?
Give me 2 like spoonfuls right there.
Okay,
One,
here we are.
2. I'm doing a lot. Can you see that?
Nice.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay,
two,
go
just
three.
2.
That's all right.
Made
Go
me
3.
nervous.
Well, you know, I got to
want
keep
two
my,
more.
my fat layer just in case we're out of power for months. You
Right,
never
and
know.
this is, and again, you have your protein and your vegetables. See, yeah.
Oh,
there
thank you for
go.
the spatula.
Large and important. Yes,
This
doesn't
is-
fit.
Yeah,
It was
let's
supposed to go the other
Let's
way.
do the math here. This is a very large spatula in
you
a
know what I
very
have
small
for you?
jar.
How about a spoon?
There we are.
All right,
That's
look at that.
working.
I'll take this, just in case I need it later.
in
There
case
we
they get
go.
out of hand.
How
right?
many of these
Okay.
guys are we doing?
2.
2 of these?
Yep. And then
we
use
are.
that spoon and just stir, stir, stir. And then we're going to have a beautiful baguette, and we're going to cut it in half, and we're just going to make a really nice sandwich.
So even if you don't have a baguette, if you got some good old white bread or you got some crackers, that works too?
Or if you have some lettuce and you want to just put it in a lettuce cup,
roll-ups?
that's a really yummy, very good for you kind of a lunch.
Carb-free.
And then you don't have to clean a plate too, because that's the worst. When the power goes out and you don't have anything, cleanup is the worst.
So that's why you buy a big pack of paper cups and paper plates.
And yeah, and the
then you just
cutlery
toss it
too,
off.
you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
So what do we want to put this
A little
in?
S&P.
Little S&P in there. I
S&P,
can
there
do
you
it.
go.
Astro- No, you do a little work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just a
How's
little
that?
trim.
Little pinch?
Beautiful.
There you go.
I think
Put a lot
I'll be in
P
charge
there.
of this.
Put a
So.
lot of
There
P
you-
in there.
All right, there
All
you
right, so
go.
we'll put this aside and then we'll make some sandwiches in a bit. Okay.
Excellent.
Sounds
and now
good.
let's get to our next. Okay, so how long did that take? A minute and a half?
Easily, if
Really?
not more. And you can do it with your kids all day long, which is great.
Absolutely, and it's fun. And, you know, we're not baking, so it's okay. All right, so here we go. Let's move our cans over and our dill pickles.
But no, one more time. What's the name of these pickles?
Cornichon.
Cornichon pickles.
baby
Cornichon
dill pickles.
Fancy pants pickles.
And what's that other
Exactly.
word? When it's the other French word? I never know what.
Cornish hen.
No, something else.
Niçoise.
No, it's the cesse de restaurant.
Pièce de résistance. Actually, that's Seth's
you knew what I
favorite.
meant.
Yes, I did. Okay, now this is so simple. I just laid the plate with, I had baby spinach. You could use romaine. You could use a bag of salad. What do you have? Well,
that's
you
the-
want to get that done because what if the power goes out and
Yes.
you want to eat your salad? Definitely.
Exactly.
So we have beautiful roasted red peppers from a can, okay?
Yeah, you can get those in canned. Those are so good. Roasted red peppers are where it's
Awesome.
at.
And they're pretty.
And that's true. You always keep your pantry stocked with stuff so that
You never
if you ever
know.
need to open a can, you're ready to go.
Exactly.
After our segment with the American Red Cross, when we talked about the emergency disaster kit that you need to have ready, and now chatting with you, I think I'm going to establish, a pantry that's just about storm food, and then every 6 months, eat the stuff that I don't want,
Or
and then
donate it to a
replenish
food pantry.
or
when
donate it
it's-
to a food
yeah,
pantry.
There you go.
Already sliced fabulous little olives.
Oh, love those.
Love the olives. We can just snack on these if we don't.
Hey, you know what? And even if the power doesn't go out, I could still make this, and it would be so fabulous.
That's the best part.
Some beautiful,
Don't have to
just
cook.
good old cucumbers.
And
My-
that's the thing
my
too. You
family
said,
loves
Kathleen,
cucumbers.
use up that stuff that could go bad.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
use that first, and then go to the cans.
So, but incorporate both of them because it's going to be a delicious meal still. I mean, come on, and good for you. So try not to buy the SpaghettiOs, because it's just things that you don't want in your body. You don't
Yep.
want to eat all that salt. Now, I had some beans. My mom always had canned beans, and I'm against them as a rule, but I love my mom. And but
all
I
do.
like green
Yeah.
beans. Good old, there's haricot vert, the little French green beans. Try saying that 10 times.
You know what's funny though? Conversely, one of the only canned vegetables I love are canned green beans.
You did not grow up
We'll
with
never
that.
have a dinner party, you and I, Kathleen.
So we're gonna put some beans on here. We need a little crunch, right?
Yes, of course.
And look at this. Isn't it getting just beautiful?
It
Can we
is.
throw some goat cheese on there? 'Cause that's really what I'm
We're
excited
almost
about.
there, but you know what I want you to do? Do you want to do
yes.
the half rings
I'll
of
do some
lovely
half rings
red
of
onions?
onions.
So we're gonna put some red onions on there, and then we'll do, of course, because it's my salad. There must be goat cheese on it.
Yes.
So.
It's no Kathleen Delaney party
Oh.
without some goat cheese. You taught me this, Kathleen.
Dude, I know I did, but we were gonna go rings.
That's why I was
okay.
confused.
Oh, we're going
I watched-
rings?
She
Yeah,
said
not
half,
anymore.
she did
It's
say
all
half rings.
Oh, almost just cut
that
myself.
works.
All right, let's.
You know
this
what?
is
An
a good
onion's
spot
an
to
onion no
end
matter
it.
which way you slice it.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
We're
so-
not there. We're not there yet. We got to put the tuna on.
Oh, the protein.
The protein goes Amelia right in the middle. Salt and pepper.
So
goat
I got
cheese.
the S&P right on top.
Really all over my hand. Excellent.
And
But
peace.
so,
Sorry,
Kathleen,
Kathleen.
you
Kath,
make-
there's
you
no
make-
power. I can't see.
I know, right? Get those hurricane lamps.
Okay, so Kathleen,
I
we're
can't
gonna
see.
we're gonna see you. Have you finished that up? We'll check back in with
We'll
you later.
check
if
back
we have
in.
time.
Yes.
But